The Elf Bull by Andrew Matthews. Farmer Hardacre charged into the kitchen, panting and puffing in all of a dither. "You'll never guess what I've found, Mag," he told his astonished wife. "No, not if you guess for the next 100 years. "I shan't waste my time trying then," snapped Mrs. Hardacre. "You'd best tell me and have done with it." Without more ado, Farmer Hardacre slipped his knapsack off his shoulder, placed it on the kitchen table, and opened it. Inside the knapsack was a tiny bull, no bigger than a kitten. Its coat was black and glossy, its horns and hooves shone like silver, and its eyes glowed as red as two splinters of ruby. A fine gold chain was fastened around its neck like a collar. "I found it caught in the thorn hedge down the lane," explained Farmer Hardacre. "I couldn't believe my eyes. Did you ever see the like in all your born days?" Mrs. Hardacre went quite pale. "Jack," she whispered, "you take that creature back where you found it this very minute." "But Mag—" "No bats, Jack," insisted Mrs. Hardacre. "That be an elf bull, and elf bulls belong to the elves." "'Tis mine," said the farmer stubbornly. "I found it, and I mean to take this fine little chap to market right away. I reckon some fancy lord or lady would pay a pretty penny for a puppet like this. Put on your finest dress, Mag, for we're off to town." "Not me," said Mrs. Hardacre, shaking her head. "I'll have no part of such foolishness." "Elves be tricky little things. No good will come of it, Jack, you mark my words." But Farmer Hardacre chose to ignore his wife's warning. He bustled off to the stable, hitched up the pony and trap, and set off on the road to town. Before long, he met a strange little man perching on a milestone at the side of the road. His boots, breeches, and jerkin were bright green, his face was nut brown, and his eyes twinkled merrily. But the strangest thing about him was his ears, for they were long and pointed. "Oh ho!" thought Farmer Hardacre as he reined his pony to a halt, for he knew an elf when he saw one. "Good day, Farmer Hardacre," said the little man. "Good day, Master Elf, and what can I do for you?" replied Farmer Hardacre in his most polite voice. "You've got something that belongs to me in that old knapsack of yours," said the elf. "What's mine is mine," returned the farmer rudely. "Finders keepers." But instead of getting cross, the elf smiled. "If you be a friend to the elves, they'll be friends to you," he said. "But if you steal what belongs to them, woe betide you." "Ha!" scoffed the farmer even more rudely. "I'm off to market to do business, and talking to you is just a waste of time. Do your worst, little green fellow." So saying, the farmer grasped the reins of his pony and continued on his way. "It won't be as easy as you think," he heard the elf call after him, but he shrugged off the words and set his mind back to thinking of a purse fat with gold coins. After all, what could the elves possibly do to a big, strong farmer like him? Town was busy, and it took Farmer Hardacre a long time to find the spot he wanted. It was right in the middle of the town square, next to the horse troughs. He hitched up his pony, then stood up in the trap and started shouting to attract attention. "Roll up, come and take the chance of a lifetime," he cried. "Have your money ready, feast your eyes on an amazing sight." Farmer Hardacre bawled so loudly that before long a large crowd had gathered around him. "What I've got for sale is one of the wonders of the world," announced the farmer. "You'll see something that will make your eyes pop out. In years to come, you'll tell your grandchildren about what I'm carrying in my knapsack." "Show us then," called someone in the crowd. Farmer Hardacre held up his hand for silence. "You must prepare yourselves," he warned, "for no one here will have seen the like before. No, nor ever will again, I dare say." So saying, he placed his hand in the knapsack, closed his fingers around what he felt inside, and drew it out for all to see. "There now," he cried. "Seeing is believing." But to his dismay, instead of the astonished gasps he had expected, the crowd burst into peals of laughter. The farmer glanced at his hand and saw not the elf bull, but a string of pork sausages. So the elves had got their own back after all. "Swindled by magic," he cursed. Farmer Hardacre became so angry that the crowd, laughing, threw him in the horse throws to cool him down. "Just look in the bag again," he chuckled. And when Farmer Hardacre opened it up, why, there was the elf bull with its shiny black coat and glittering red eyes. "Well, I'll be blowed," said the farmer with a smile. And gently he put the bag down on the ground. The bull was delighted to be back with the elf. It frisked and snorted and tapped its silver hooves on the road. Farmer Hardacre gathered up the pony's reins and started to head for home. "Farewell, elf friend," cried the elf after him. "I'm glad to see you've learned your lesson." "And much good may it do me," sighed the farmer. And much good it did to him, for in the years followed the farmer's fields produced the finest grain, and his cows produced the thickest cream for miles around. "One good turn deserves another," chuckled Farmer Hardacre to himself. And it's certain that if he ever found any elf bulls after that, he left them well alone.